number of reasons why it's important for local voices to be heard at national events. It's because everywhere in the country is different, and it's very important for local perspectives to be understood so that housing needs of people who live locally are appropriate, so that we don't get a situation where what's appropriate for cities is applied to areas like Newark and Sherwood. Newark and Sherwood is a rural area, and so we need to make sure that we get the houses that local people need.
It's important for local voices to be heard at national events because we have to get our views represented. An example of that for me would be around infrastructure. So one of the events that I went to at the conference was looking at assistive technology, and a lot of the products and a lot of the solutions on offer fantastic if you're in a city with great broadband connections and great Wi-Fi capacity, but for a rural area like Newark and Sherwood, probably not as effective. And I think it's really important that we get that message across so that infrastructure in rural areas is invested in.
So it's important for our local voices to be heard at national events because our circumstances are different. Our circumstances happening in Newark and Sherwood are different to those happening in other towns and cities across the country, and we want to make sure that we meet the needs of the local people that live in Newark and Sherwood.
Newark and Sherwood Homes is very active in contributing to the national agenda. During the time at Housing Conference this year, we were involved in a Senior Leaders Forum, and at that Senior Leaders Forum we met people from Homes England, so the Chief Executive, a range of ministers and officials, so that we can actually, again, make the points about what it's like in Newark and Sherwood, what the tenants of Newark and Sherwood need, what the residents of Newark and Sherwood need, and so we can seek to influence national policy. We do put a lot of effort into that. If we didn't, then if sometimes we sit and think, oh well, things don't really work here, if we don't work now, that's with our effort. Without our effort, we would get even less. So that's why it's really important to get up there and say what matters.
At Newark and Sherwood Homes, we've worked really hard to contribute to the national agenda. We became members of the National Federation of Almos some time ago now, and our Chief Executive and Chairman have been involved in that body, influencing national politicians and also influencing the national sector in a massive way. I think on a very practical level, we've also contributed to the housing shortage by building new homes locally to meet local needs.
We contribute to the national agenda in a number of ways. I think our lobbying, particularly around the borrowing cap, and our ability to, as a local authority, or working with a local authority to build more houses for local people, to look at different housing products, so that we can, offer a wider range of choice for people living in Newark and Sherwood. It's quite a difficult area to get housing in if you're not earning a high income. So we really do need to make sure that we've got products available for people who live and work locally and that are affordable for those individuals.
Certainly making connections, making relationships, listening to the housing minister and being pleased to hear that he wanted to embrace a whole range of affordable housing mechanisms for people, not just owner occupation. Owner occupation is great for people, but that's not everybody, and not everybody can afford that at all stages of their life. So that was a really important takeaway, to know that government policy is looking to embrace the needs of all of society during all of their lives. So in amongst meeting people, that was probably the biggie.
I love conference. I think my main takeaway is being able to immerse myself in housing, learning the new ideas, the new concepts, and also making the voice of Newark and Sherwood heard.
My key takeaway from the conference was the range of relationships that I was able to build, but also I think looking at different housing products that are available, particularly modular build, and particularly looking at affordable and cheaper ways of developing more housing in an area like Newark and Sherwood.